We are here at the very tip of the thumb of Michigan, here to check out Port Austin and some neighboring areas here. Hey everyone, this is Scott, or the Scott Man, and welcome. It is a beautiful sunny day here, and we'll be checking out Port Austin, walking around the little downtown area. We'll get some lunch while we're up here too. We'll go on the breakwater, see Lake Huron, and then we'll check out also a lighthouse to the east of here, and we'll head over to Port Crescent State Park later, that's to the west of here, and then we'll even make a quick stop over in Caseville too. So we'll go ahead and we'll walk around Port Austin. It's not really that large, but it's definitely worth walking around the town. Although downtown Port Austin is not all that big, but it's really nice to walk around. There's a few different shops and restaurants. Yeah, quite nice. We'll have to come back in a little while to get some lunch, but now we're gonna head over to the Port Austin State Harbor. So this is a marina where people have their boats docked, and of course you also put your boat in here as well too. You can head out to Lake Huron or even over to the Saginaw Bay, because this is where the Saginaw Bay empties out into Lake Huron. In fact, there is a breakwater pier we can go out on where we can get some really cool views, even looking in toward Port Austin. And we have made it to the end of the breakwater pier. This is such a spectacular view. This is where all the boats come out from the harbor and head out to Lake Huron. On a beautiful day like today, it's absolutely perfect. What's cool about the breakwater is that if you head over that way, or look out that way, I should say, you can see the Port Austin Lighthouse. There's one lighthouse which is not right on the water. It's a little bit further out. You can't get to it by foot, obviously, because it's in the middle of the lake, but you can take your boat over there to get a little closer. And of course, looking out that way, you can even see Port Austin and the harbor. What a beautiful sight it is. And another cool thing too is that the Port Austin area, this is one area in Michigan, even on Lake Huron, where you can catch sunset or sunrise and sunset. So that's really cool. So you can get a really good sunset over here, and then maybe not necessarily right here, but over by like the Pointe Aux Barques area, you could get a beautiful sunrise. In fact, we'll head over to a lighthouse over there in a little bit once we get back inland. All right, let's head back inland. And one thing to point out too is that there's also a kayak rental you can do here in Port Austin. Port Austin Kayak is a great place to go to rent a kayak, and you can take that out toward like where the breakwater is, or even out toward Lake Huron. That breakwater pier is really cool. It's one of my favorite things about Port Austin. You get pretty views from out there too. So we're back inland again, and over on the other side of the channel, there's a nice little small park. We have a nice little view, although maybe not as nice as over on the breakwater, but you got picnic tables, also a basketball court. Nice little small park. You have to drive a little bit east of the main intersection here in Port Austin and basically go around this channel to get to that park, but there's no bridge directly going over from here, but oh well. All right, so before we get lunch, we're gonna head a little bit to the east over to Pointe Aux Barques, and we're gonna check out a beautiful historic lighthouse. And we're about a good 15 minutes to the east of Port Austin, and this is the Lighthouse Park. This is home to the iconic Pointe Aux Barques Lighthouse. It was built back in 1848. Well, the original tower was built in 1848, but after getting heavily damaged in the course of 9 years, they built the current one, which still stands today. And this lighthouse is at a very important part in the Great Lakes, because around Pointe Aux Barques as well as Thunder Bay, those are the two areas in the entire Great Lakes which has seen over 80 shipwrecks. So it is extremely dangerous over in this area. So this lighthouse is even still used today by the Coast Guard. It's currently active. So unfortunately, only a few days a year they allow people to go up. Today, unfortunately, is not one of those days, but you can still go inside the museum. It's a very cool museum. You can go inside, learn more about the lighthouse, as well as like some of the history in the area. And of course, this lighthouse even survived the Great Storm of 1913. So definitely a must-see lighthouse here in like the tip of the thumb of Michigan. All right, so we're gonna head back into Port Austin and we're gonna go get some lunch. So I'll see you there. All right, so we're back here in downtown Port Austin. It's time to eat. There's a few different restaurants here in town, and a place I have not checked out before is the Bank 1884, located in a very historic building, and I've heard they have some pretty good food in there. It's one of the more popular restaurants in town. So we'll have to get something nice to eat. So let's head inside and cool off. All right, so I got a spot inside. You got a dining room in here, well, two dining rooms, even a bar area, and then you even have outdoor seating too. It's a little humid out there, so I figure cool off in here instead. But yeah, they got a lunch menu and a dinner menu. For lunch, they got different like sandwiches and salads and other great stuff. So here I'm gonna have their perch sandwich, some fried perch with lettuce, some pickles and onion and tartar sauce, also a side of fries too. Fries are pretty good. Go ahead and have some of this fish sandwich. Yeah, this is pretty good, I have to say. The perch is cooked very well. Gotta try a bite without the sandwich, but it's not overcooked or anything. And of course, with the tartar sauce, it's a nice flavor. And of course, I like the brioche bun. Yeah, very good sandwich. Perfect lunch for exploring Port Austin. Oh yeah. Well, that was pretty good, I have to say. So that sandwich filled me up a little bit. And of course, the fries are really good too. So yeah, definitely check out the Bank 1884 here in Port Austin, one of several great restaurants here. All right, so now that I've had some food, we're gonna check out a really cool historical site just about a mile to the east of here, and then we're gonna head west from Port Austin, head over to Port Crescent State Park. So a little bit to the east, just about a mile from Port Austin, we have the Port Austin History Center for a few days of the week, especially during the warmer months. They have a nice little history center in sight with different artifacts and tell you about the history about Port Austin and nearby Grindstone City and areas around the general area. Even some beautiful historic buildings over that way too. It's a nice little quick stop over in the Port Austin area. All right, so let's get back in the car. We're gonna head west and head over to Port Crescent State Park. And we have made over to Port Crescent State Park, a beautiful state park located several miles to the west along M25 going west from Port Austin. There is a day use area, which is where we're gonna explore today. And there's also 2 miles further east of here, a separate campground where you can go camping over here at the tip of the thumb. And the beautiful Pinnebog River divides both parts of the park. So over here we have a beautiful trail system, the Dunes Nature Trail. So we're gonna go for a little hike this afternoon, and toward the end of the hike we'll get some beautiful views of the low-grade sand dunes along the Saginaw Bay. And here we are, the beautiful Saginaw Bay. So over here, there's a very nice beach area. You can tell on a hot day like today, everybody's going in for a swim. And of course, we got these nice sand dunes, although there's a lot of tall grass growing along the dunes. So it's not like Sleeping Bear Dunes or even like the Grand Sable Dunes up in the Upper Peninsula where you can see a lot of the sand, but it's still pretty cool though. But yeah, as you can tell, I didn't do the entire trail system for Port Crescent State Park because it is really hot out and it's not really the smartest idea to do the full walk unless I have a whole bunch of water with me, like more than just a 600-700 milliliter water bottle. However, I do have a separate video just on Port Crescent State Park, which I filmed 5 years ago, where I do more of a full hike at the park. So definitely check out that video where we explore the park more thoroughly. Yeah, the beach is quite nice, I have to say. On a nice hot day, it's nice to jump in and go for a nice swim. But yeah, definitely check out Port Crescent State Park up here in the Port Austin area. It's definitely worth the 2.5 to 3 hour drive up from the Metro Detroit area. All right, so before we conclude the video, we're gonna leave the park. We're gonna head several miles to the west on M25 and head over to Caseville. All right, so about 10 minutes or so to the southwest of Port Crescent State Park, we have the city of Caseville. So compared to Port Austin, the little downtown area is a little larger. Got some different shops, even a couple of restaurants in here too. But yeah, one thing I'll point out too is between here and Port Austin, not only you have Port Crescent State Park, you have another state park, Sleeper State Park, and many county parks along the Saginaw Bay. So plenty of opportunities to go for a swim. So we're gonna walk around downtown Caseville really quick and we'll take in the sights. Caseville's a nice little small city. Again, it's not all that big or anything, but it's nice to walk around in though. So head over that way a little bit. There's a county park and also a pier we could check out. So we'll head over there to conclude the video. And over here, this is Caseville County Park, just a little quick stop, a great place to go swimming with a nice beach, picnic areas, and of course over here there's also a campground too. And just a little bit to the south is the breakwater pier. Well, let's head over there to conclude the video. All right, so we're here at our last stop, just not far to the south from the county park. This is Caseville Point Park, where we have a breakwater pier where you can head out and get some very cool views. So let's head out and check it out. All right, so we made it to the end of the pier and we got a beautiful view of the Saginaw Bay, which of course heads out to Lake Huron. And then if you look over the beach over there, so it does turn out you can get over to this pier from the county park. You just have to walk across the beach. But yeah, this is also where all the boats come into Caseville as well. But yeah, just gotta enjoy the views on this beautiful day. Well, I've had such a great time checking out Port Austin and surrounding areas, from of course downtown Port Austin with getting lunch there as well, Port Crescent State Park, Pointe Aux Barques Park, or the Lighthouse Museum more specifically, and of course here in Caseville. This is one area in Michigan you absolutely have to check out. It's only about 3 hours north of Metro Detroit. It's fantastic. A lot of people come here in the summer for camping or even just for day trips like what I'm doing today. So definitely check it out. And also it was really cool meeting one of you followers here as well too. I always enjoy meeting you guys anytime I'm out and about. So yeah, if you recognize me, feel free to come up and say hi. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video here in Port Austin and Caseville. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on any future adventures. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott, or the Scott Man, signing out here from Caseville, Michigan.